How we doing out there, class? SHS students, happy to be with your school for another great semester here in conjunction with Georgia Northwestern Technical College. My name is Mr. Volpe. I've been teaching with GNTC since 2013, and I've been working with SHS students like yourselves for about 8 or so years now. So I'm happy to be with your school again. I'll be working with Miss Stephanie Caudell, your counselor or admissions point person over there. Uh, so that we make sure you guys are on track and have all of your needs met. So you guys are going to get a video kind of like this. It's I'm not some Galaxy Brain YouTube wizard. It's just me shooting a little check-in video through my phone. So those will come every other week. They'll be in the weekly announcement. So at the beginning of each week on Monday morning, the announcement will be deployed for what we have going on for that particular week. And at this point, you guys should have read your syllabus and kind of look at, what's coming up in the student guide at the bottom, look at the policies, and all of that. Basically, what we use in our Blackboard, if you go into the course and you look at the left-hand column under the course title, you will see under Learn, Lessons Assignments. That's where we where I post our assignments for the week. You'll see the breakdown is clustered into shells, which is like a master folder in which is usually 2 weeks. So shell 1, which is where we are right now, has weeks 1 and 2. This is our second week right here. So that is how the day-to-day or week-to-week lessons are structured. Under Learn as well, you'll see Textbook and 1101 Reader. Those are our two primary course texts. The textbook is called Successful College Composition. That's where we do our exercises having to do with each mode of discourse that we do for essay writing. So modes of discourse that we're doing this year will be narrative, so stories. We're going to be writing a first-person narrative about a meaningful moment in our lives. Then after that, we're going to write a descriptive essay where we are relying on sensory details, imagery, figurative language to make our topic come to life for the reader. We then switch to argument and persuasion, which is arguing in effective, mature, professional ways in trying to persuade our reader to see things from our point of view. And then the final mode of discourse is the research incorporated version of our argumentative persuasive essay, where we will incorporate research into our essay to further bolster our assertions. So we are in our narrative unit right now, and for this week, so first let's recap last week. Last week you turned in your no-show discussion forum on those 2 articles having to do with a pretty hot-button issue from last year, really, but still, making waves this year as well. The whole issue of book banning and what that means. It's actually kind of a, nuanced topic, and I think that, as with many political discussions we have in this country, we kind of talk past each other and aren't really getting into the fine details of what people are saying. So I appreciate you guys having a good discussion. Just keep in mind when you discuss in discussion forums and you're engaging with each other, while there may be pretty strident opposing points of view, to just engage each other respectfully and civilly. You could challenge each other, certainly. I will do that as well on your papers and variety of feedback on your assignments, but you just make sure that we're doing it in a courteous way as best we can. Additionally, this week, Sunday night, that is when I'm recording this video, in fact, Sunday the 25th, you have some discussion questions on the two readings that we had. So the readings were in the other textbook you'll find under the Learn heading. That is our 1101 reader, and we are in the narrative section. And you had to read a piece by George Orwell called Shooting an Elephant, and then a piece by Tim O'Brien, The Vietnam in Me, both autobiographical, about these authors in different places outside of their home country, and the different sort of conflicts they experience, and how being with these different people, these different cultures, these different lands has impacted them so profoundly. So that's, and there's a lot of overlap between those two stories there. And you had a couple of kind of open-ended discussion questions. Just make sure you're answering those thoroughly and providing textual evidence when you feel it is necessary or when you are instructed to do so. So that will be graded for you this week. I'll let you guys know that additionally in Alpharetta, I am a middle school teacher as well. That is my day job, so to speak. So when it comes to timely returns on your assignments, typically an essay will take about a 2-week turnaround time. The weekly class homework assignments, discussion questions or exercises in SCC or journals or discussion forums, those will typically take a week. Now, there are times when I will just be so kind of jammed with 4 or 5 other classes worth of reading material for essays. I have to grade all of my kids' essays as well. So that's all to say, your patience is appreciated. I'm pretty understanding with you guys too with submissions, but you have to turn things in on when things are assigned, the due dates. Those are due dates for a reason. They're not arbitrary just because. If you guys start turning in things late, like in emails, you are going to be kind of forgotten, so to speak, just because the volume of things I have to grade and read and assess is so great that I don't have the time to go sifting through my email looking for late things. Now, if you have an extenuating circumstance where you've cleared it with me and you have some exception, that's a different story. But please make sure you guys are keeping up week by week. We usually have a couple assignments a week. So for this week, we have our 2 exercises in SCC Chapter 3, which is Modes of Discourse, Lesson 2, which is Narration. And it asks you to do some pre-writing, kind of brainstorming. You don't have to turn that in. That's exercise 1. But what I do want is exercises 2 and 3, where you kind of chronologically arrange this plot for your narrative. A moment in your life is what we're going for here, significant life moment. You can actually use these exercises as a foundation for your essay, which will be due in a couple of weeks. So you can think of this week as kind of drafting for your narrative essay. So, right, exercise 2 asks you to start arranging plot details about this significant life moment using transitions. There's a list there, a chart there of transition words and phrases that we use to help advance a plot. So please use those in your writing. And then exercise 3 asks you to kind of build on this rough plot idea that you've worked on in exercise 2 and in exercise 1. So that is SCC's work this week, Successful College Composition, the textbook. The other assignment is a journal, also in Shell 1 Week 2. the journal, as all engagement activities are due on Friday. Okay, so it'll close Friday, and it just asks you to kind of comment on the power of stories. So we read a couple of narratives, the Tim O'Brien narrative and the George Orwell narrative. And the journals are, reflective. It's a place for you to kind of open up and, talk about whatever is addressed to you in the journal prompt, in kind of an open-ended way where you could kind of explore your thoughts. You do want to make sure that you are, as best you can, being, proofreading your writing, making sure things aren't, wildly incorrect in terms of grammar and punctuation and all that stuff. So I do recommend you guys proofread what you write. So going to the journal for week 2 here, The Power of Stories, due by the 30th, 11:59 p.m. Just talk about any stories that have impacted you. And stories are in a variety of media. They're not just print media, right? Not just, something we find on the dreaded book talk these days, or books you had to read in school or anything like that, or books you read for pleasure. Sure, those are stories, novels, short stories, narrative poems, but also movies, TV shows. Those are, of course, audiovisual iterations of stories. Those are stories too. So you, in your journal, you could talk about, a good movie, a great story told in a movie or show that you really appreciate. That is fine as well. So the journal is on storytelling, is due Friday, the 30th. And then the other assignment is those 2 SCC exercises on kind of drafting for your narrative essay. That is due Sunday, the 1st of September. I believe that is the 1st of September. Let me just check my calendar here. Yes, so that is the Sunday. You will have those 2 SCC exercises due, and then a couple days previous to that, the 30th, your journal is due. All right, so that's about it in the way of introduction and kind of going over the flow of how the courses run. Again, you guys can expect a roughly 10 to 15 minute video every other week. Okay, so I'm happy to be with you guys. If you need any help or guidance, shoot me an email. I'm pretty good about turning emails around to you pretty quickly. So never hesitate to reach out. Okay. All right, everybody. So I will bid you goodbye from nice and relatively cool Kennesaw, Georgia, and talk to you again in a couple weeks. See you then.